Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Candid Conversations. I am your host, Cynthia Maxie Milton, the program where we look to inspire, inform, and uplift you. Now, our guest today, his music has taken him to literally every continent in the world. A fusion of jazz, gospel, blues, and R&B. And he calls Jackson home now, even though he hails from Florence, South Carolina, and we're very glad that he's here in our hometown. I am so happy to welcome to Candid Conversations today, the one and only Ezra Brown. Ezra, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
It's been a long time coming.
Yes.
We went through a few little times, but we got you here.
Hey, we're here.
Glad to have you here.
We're here now.
So people really know you as a saxophonist. You play saxophone, but you share the stage with some of the greats like B.B. King, Bobby Blue Bland, Johnny Taylor.
Johnny Taylor, yeah.
Just to name a few. So tell me about you. You started out growing up in Florence, South Carolina, the son of a teacher and a DJ. Tell me about life in Florence and how it led you to this world of music.
Well, life in Florence. My mother, wonderful vocalist, teacher by day. At night, she's teaching piano lessons at the house. So I was hearing a piano tinkering all day long, every day. And then she will play for many different churches, and she's known as a really great vocalist. So she also played piano, but played, with singing also. So that aspect, plus my grandmother. So a lot of times my mom was working, and she was getting a degree at the same time. Be with my grandmother, be riding around with my grandmother. My grandmother kind of taught me the grind part in life. She had us picking beans and peas. I don't know, some of y'all don't know nothing about none of that life. Picking beans and peas, selling them, with the little pan and the whole thing, and then she would sell them. So that was my first viewpoint of entrepreneurship from both angles. My dad, DJ, radio announcer, kind of stuff like this. He would work for many different radio stations, and he had that voice. He's got that voice, So seeing all of those different aspects, that's how I saw life. Church, we go to like every church imaginable order denominations within a Sunday, and then seeing entrepreneurship, and this is what made it really special for me, seeing entrepreneurship from a woman's lens of how people sell. And my grandmother taught me how to sell, where the answer wasn't no. It was what variation of yes it was. So it's all about how you present that, and I was pretty impressed. Like, she didn't go for no's. Now it was different variations of yes. So how you sell and how you see the product from the beginning to it being sold. And I hated it at the time, man, go lie. Selling beans and peas was not my thing. And that's how life started. And then I started playing the saxophone. And it's kind of how I got here right now.
So you had that first solo at age 12, which was Amazing Grace.
Oh, yeah.
What was that like for you, and what impression did that have on you, and what part of that is still a part of your music today?
Well, let me say, I was talking to my mom the other day, and we were laughing about this. Actually, my mom tricked me. I'm gonna say this on camera. So she knew I wanted some sneakers, the Pumas, the suede Pumas. So she bought the Pumas. She tricked me with the Pumas. I said I want the Pumas. She said, I get them. You get them, voice all high and stuff. I got them. So she bought the Pumas. She said, if you learn this song and you play it at church, I'll get you the Pumas. So she bought the Pumas and brought them to church, and I had to play the song before I got my Pumas. I played the mess out that song.
Well, it served you well, because look at today, you now have played all over the world. So you get out, you graduate high school, and you come and join the Sonic Boom of the South.
Oh.
JSU, Jackson State. What attracted you to Jackson State University?
Before I even say that, I just want to tell everybody that I actually was one of the few people that graduated from Augusta, Georgia, T.W. Josie High School, the only little Sonic Boom of the South. little tidbit. It's good things to know. The only little sonic boom in the South, my band director Charles Smith, he actually graduated from Jackson State. He was really a well-known trumpet player. His name was called Bama.
It was called
Bama.
Okay, because somebody may know him.
Right. Oh yeah. He's an amazing trumpet player. So he was promoting go to Jackson State, and I was on this jazz thing. I was like, hey, I knew I wanted to go to a HBCU. I got offered I got a scholarship to a lot of different schools. Actually, I was one of 50 students that made this United States Collegiate Winds Band that they took to Europe for a month. So I made that one. So I was one of 50 students out of the United States that made that. And I specifically said, because of my upbringing, I wanted to go to HBCU. So Jackson State on the HBCU jazz list is actually number 2. Howard University at that time was number 1. But I spent most of my relatives lived in D.C. and I was like, man, I don't want to see them. I'm gonna go someplace different. Didn't know nothing about Jackson State at the time until I got there and got here off a Greyhound bus.
And then they put you on the field in the heat of the summer. In the sonic boom. I think they call that baptismal by fire. Yeah.
Because I got tricked. I got here on a jazz scholarship, and then I found out, you get to the bottom of the piece of paper, it's all the way at the bottom. They say, and you got to march in the marching band. I'm like, what? So I ended up having to march in the marching band and loved it. I don't know. I got tricked, but I loved it.
And he flourished because he went on to become a working musician even while he was still in college. So when we come back, we're going to learn more about his journey and then how he got from Jackson to all over the world. And later we may even talk about how he went on to become an entrepreneur. You're watching Candid Conversations. I'm Cynthia Maxie Milton. Stay tuned.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Hey, have you heard about the Accountable Card? It's more than a card. It's a complete mobile banking service that's accountable to all of us. You'll get a no credit check debit card good anywhere Visa is accepted to make purchases, deposits, even get or transfer cash with an FDIC insured bank account managed from our smartphone app. There's even a pre-approved no interest line of credit if you need emergency cash. So why go to the bank when you can have ours in your pocket? Get accountable. Just download our app today.
Welcome back to this edition of Candid Conversations. I'm Cynthia Maxie Milton. In studio with me is the renowned Ezra Brown, jazz saxophonist extraordinaire, and you play a lot of instruments. You want to tell the folks real quick all the instruments you play?
Well, saxophone is what you're going to see in my hand most of the time.
That's your moneymaker.
That's my moneymaker. Well, I play all the saxes, just so you know. Weird story, when I was in 8th grade, and why I played all the saxophones. I was in the 8th grade, actually in Augusta, Georgia, and I was looking to find a new saxophone. And you know how, people tell you in church, you think it and it happens. So I was sitting in the car, me and my mom, and a person that, how should I say it, that likes pharmaceuticals. He actually said, hey, I have saxophones for sale. And he had everything from the alto all the way to baritone for $50. So I bought those, and I ended up, testing, going, alto, tenor, baritone, and tenor, for everything from the little competitions. So that's how I ended up doing all the competitions, because I bought all the horns for $50. So thank you to that guy. I thank you, because I kept those horns. I got a tenor still now. I'm not playing that tenor, but that tenor changed my life. $50.
That was a great return on investment, to
For
say
real.
the least. And so you're here at Jackson State. You're in the sonic boom, and pretty soon you start performing professionally.
Yes, and how that started. again, my church background, that Amazing Grace and the Pumas, kind of got me started. Playing in the church gave me the ear training, and I'll tell this, look, for any musicians out there, the ear training. So basically, I can play any key, any song. I kind of knew where the verse, the bridge was going, because I just happened to hear songs and just had to pay attention. And playing in church, depending on what church, you get yelled at a lot, like, hey, we trying to pray here, why are you trying to solo? So you kind of understand where not to play, and those skills make you more money. What people don't know, if you start understanding structure, those structure skills really make you more money. So I used all that when I came to Jackson State, and I needed a job, because I wasn't on a meal plan. Man, hey, we're gonna have to talk about that, Jackson State. But I wasn't on a meal plan. So,
and the marching band with no meal plan.
Ain't that something?
That's something.
As the people say, you got to be more careful. So what I did is I played at a church, College Hill. Right outside the walls was a church called
Hines.
Yes. That changed my life, because I knew how to play the songs. I instantly made money. And because my hard work and skills, and I ain't scared of doing hard work, upstairs they invented a study abroad, studies, whatever they do for students, some kind of program, where I had to sort bent cans, and that was my job, and that's how I ate. So I could take the bent cans home, and we would give the unbent cans to homeless people and people that needed food, and I was that guy upstairs that sorted those cans. And on Sunday I played at the church.
But then eventually you played with artists like Patrice Mansell, and as I said, you've been all over the world. Every continent in the world, you played that instrument. On that walk going to church, ironically, I would hear a band play. And ironically, that band was Dorothy Moore. She was performing, she was rehearsing at one of the houses on my way to choir rehearsal sometime. My first performance, I got called. A guy named Andre Delano, amazing saxophone player, also went to Jackson State. He called me up and said, hey, I'm working on the tour. I'm working on the ship. I need somebody to play my Dorothy Moore gig. That was my first touring gig with Dorothy Moore, right here. And you still have played with her in recent years, so that started me in the blues. That started me in getting the blues, and from then I was able to be in a horn section called the Jackson Horns, and we were able to do everything from Denise LaSalle, Mel Waiters, play with Willie Clayton, all of these guys, and Malaco Records. So we were the horn section for Malaco Records, and at that time I was like 18, 19 years old. Mel Waiters, all the stuff you hear, like Willie Clayton, 3 people sleeping on my bed, that's actually me on saxophone. And a lot of those, Denise LaSalle, Mel Waiters, that's actually me on saxophone. As a teenager? As a late teenager, yeah. That is amazing. But that just shows the excellence on your life, and your excellence made room for you. If you've been kind of raggedy on sax, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. But because you were so excellent from a very young age, people called and doors opened for you, and they still are opening to this day. But what I love about you is that you weren't just concerned about doors for you. You wanted to see doors open and make bridges for other young people. So you've helped architect programs that have helped people literally come from Jackson State, from Jackson, Mississippi, to go all over, again, the world. Talk to us about that. Well, one thing about that, actually during that time, Mississippi, in the Southern Soul ring for recording, wasn't under union. So, and also they would pay horn players less money than they would pay anybody else in the band for a tour. So I was one of the people, me and myself and my friends, Robert Lampkin, trombone player, Kimball Funches, amazing trumpet player. We were the horn section that actually revolutionized equal pay for horn players and the rest of the musicians at that time when we were Willie Clayton. So basically we kind of did like a strike of sorts. So since we were the biggest horn section at that time, we demanded regular pay. So they had to pay us equal money, and that was the start of
for the younger cats after us, we wanted to kind of build something. So, hey, we need to, you want to play great music, but hey, I want a life too. I want that car, I want to live in that house. That was one of the things, but we also wanted to make sure, even from a jam session standpoint and a business standpoint, that we could show the younger musicians how to make a living, a lifestyle. Not do this as a hobby, which I've never had a job, a quote unquote clock-in job my whole life. I've only did music, so I write music, I arrange music, I transpose, I play gospel, I do the whole gamut. So we want to be able to show younger musicians there's a life in this music game. You don't have to think about yourself as they say a starving musician. We don't know that life, and we shouldn't ever know that life, because we have this God-given talent that can make us money for the rest of our life. So we want to be able to show jobs of how that's possible. So putting people onto gigs and showing them the structure. This is how you need to bid for gigs. This is what you need to wear. So no, you can't sit down on a gig. These are things. Yes, you do need to wear black socks. These are things that people don't talk about that makes money. That makes consistent money, that will change you from making $100 to you making $500 by just you knowing not to wear white socks, or knowing to wear a black belt, or to make sure you have a full black suit in your archive. Different things like this they don't tell you. Or don't try to solo during the verse. These are things, putting your phone up, simple things can make you an extra $20,000. Just simple things.
Let's say that again. Simple things, the details, can make you an extra $20,000.
Simple.
And simple things can cost you an extra $20,000.
This is true.
Sage advice.
Yes.
Do you have any performances coming up?
Well, actually, right now, and we'll talk about this later. Right now, I'm kind of showing my business sense right now, and y'all like that? But I will be working on a record, a blues record, actually. So I'm in Jackson, Mississippi right now to not only open a few of my businesses, but also I'll be here to learn and actually work on an instrumental blues record, a shuffle blues record. We're hoping to get it on one of the labels here. And also we'll be working on a couple of side projects at the same time. And we'll be using a lot of musicians here and creating a more entertainment lifestyle that can thrive for the rest.
Well, as he said, he's a businessman also. So there's going to be a part 2 to this interview, so make sure you check that out. But for right now, if people want to check out your latest album, they want to book you, they want to download some of your music, they want to contact you on social media, give them your information.
So you can check me out, EzraBrown.com. You can go to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you want, under Ezra Brown, and that's EZRA. My name doesn't have an L in it, so just Ezra Brown, So also make sure you can check us out on Instagram, Spotify, under Ezra Brown Soul Music. As we're trying to push the element of music with feeling. And people love that all over the world. And I like to thank everybody from all over the world for loving my music. One of my songs, Sendai, gets talked about a lot. And I'm finally getting ready to go back in the studio. And I really want to thank everybody from Japan all the way to Itabina. I love y'all. Nicaragua, thank y'all for supporting me and playing my music. Check me out. The more is coming.
And thank you for being here for this edition of Candid Conversations. And we have an event to tell you about coming up. It is the inaugural Fashion Music Showcase that's coming up. It's going to come up January 25th. The doors open at 7 p.m. The show is at 8 o'clock p.m. If you want some information on that, you can contact Clarence Beeman. That's at 662-607-8842. And that is going to be, again, the inaugural Fashion and Music Showcase. That sounds really, really interesting. So check that out. That's my good friend, Mitch C. Davis. So you can go to his social media to learn more about that. So you've been watching this edition of Candid Conversations. I am your host, Cynthia Maxie Milton. Our guest today was the great Ezra Brown. Our director is Chelsea Thomas, and we are here in the We Believe Digital Studios right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Thank you for joining us. Join us next time. Goodbye, everybody.